Tēnā koutou te whānau o Auckland Unitarians. Tēnā koutou nā manahiri. No mai, haere mai ki tēnei whare karakia. A te ato, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Welcome. Welcome into this circle of community. Welcome into this space made sacred by Auckland Unitarians for 114 years. Be not tentative. Bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing. Bring your kindness and your compassion. Bring also your sorrow, your pain. Bring your brokenness and disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together. This morning, I would like to warmly welcome Dr. Yasi Watson Yao, our guest professor. Dr. Yao was born in California and has been living on the East Coast of America since 2005. Her family is from Zacatecas, there we go, and Jalisco, Mexico. She is a mother of 3 boys, all of whom were born in the Temazcal. My Aztec isn't very good. A sweat lodge. She is also a wife, ceremonial woman, Mexica dancer, doula, midwife, assistant, artisan, activist, author, and scholar. She is the co-founder of Traditional Doula Arts. She is the author of the book Decolonizing Nahua Mexica, Aztec Children's Literature, the book Blooming Flower, Shooting Star, and Boys Can Have Long Hair Too. Currently, she is studying to be a certified midwife. In preparing for this morning's service, I came across this quote by journalist and social observer Sarah Vowell. Just the other day, I was in my neighborhood Starbucks waiting for the post office to open. I was enjoying a chocolatey cafe mocha when it occurred to me that to drink a mocha is to gulp down the entire history of the New World, from the Spanish exportation of Aztec cacao and the Dutch invention of the chemical process for making cocoa, on down to the capitalist empire of Hershey, Pennsylvania, and the lifestyle marketing of Seattle Starbucks. The modern mocha is a bittersweet concoction of imperialism, genocide, invention, and consumerism, served with whipped cream on top. In reflection, each of us is like that mocha. The history of the culture or cultures in which we have lived or live have created a concoction that may be both tasty and bittersweet, but is always unique and intended to be savored. Dr. Yao is an exotic taste treat in these parts. In her is a culture that has reached a height that would match the Han Dynasty or the Hellenistic world. In her is a people who have been cruelly colonized over 500 years. In her is the earth-centered spirituality and wisdom that goes back, according to legend, to the 12th century. However, Dr. Yao also embodies the traditional wisdom of a doula and the scientific knowledge of a midwife. She encompasses our modern world as a scholar, artist, author, and activist. Starbucks will never serve anything so flavorful. I'd now like to invite Yasi Swanson or Yao to come forward, please.
All right, well, Tlazokamati, in Nahuatl, that means thank you, or literally with my mouth I say I love you and thank you. I wanted to open up with a song, and it goes, At ehe katlali wantlet, at ehe katlali wantlet, at ehe katlali wantlet, at ehe katlali wantlet. En machiome, en emelitzli, en machiome, en emelitzli, atla chinoli, en temashkali, atla chinoli, en chalchichiwit, at ehekatlali wantlet, at ehekatlali wantlet, at ehekatlali wantlet, at ehekatlali wantlet. So that's a song in Nahuatl for the elements, for the fire, the water, earth, and wind, and our families, our children, and just creation and nature in general, giving thanks. So I wanted to share a little bit about this prophecy of the eagle and the condor in our traditions. There was some elders who they had a ceremony within the Native American church, Teocalli Quetzalcoatl, which means the spirit house, and of knowledge, of wisdom. And so from that prayer came this vision, and there was a meeting in Quito, Ecuador, back in 1990. And so there's prophecy from the elders that there was the need to unite all indigenous peoples throughout the world, worldwide, because we're all indigenous to somewhere, right? And but the focus being on North and Central South America, there's a run that occurs every 4 years, that since the mark of the 500 years of colonization and miseducation of indigenous peoples, they started this run, and I got to participate in 2004. So I ran parts of California, where I was born, through Mexico, different states, all the way down to Panama. And so there's this run where there's runners who start in Tierra del Fuego in Argentina and others up in Alaska. And for 6 months, you just run every day from one community to the other, sharing songs, foods, which is sacred, just traditional ways of life. And we carry these staffs, and there's so many beautiful staffs made of different types of wood, oak, pine, ash. And these staffs carry feathers, all kinds of feathers, eagles, hawks, macaws. And each feather represents a prayer. And then these prayers are for a lot of, like what was shared right now with the candles, for family members, for physical conditions, for, the big systems of power, white supremacy, capitalism, patriarchy. All these issues are in these prayers, right? That we go from community to community, exchanging, and they're what leads us. So I got to run, and the message from that was just to always share like your culture and your way of life, and then it was always for the children to always, the children are sacred to whatever we do in life for yes, take care of ourselves, our family, the community, the world, but the children are what, continues. And so, like for us, our people, we're Mexica, we're Wirarica, and I was born in California, that's Chicana. So for me, like my family background and just I just feel so blessed and give thanks to the Creator every day, and to the, to the water and the fire, and, to our Mother Earth, the wind over here. It feels really nice being here in New Zealand, all this, new beings and energies for my heart, my person, And I could just think of this prophecy of like sharing, because there's this poet in our Mexica culture. His name is Nezahualcóyotl, and it always stands out. He said, "What are we here on earth if not to plant and sing songs?" And it's just simple. Like that's our philosophy. We come from Insochi in Chica, which means flower and song. And that's what we do. We have a relationship with the earth, and then just, it's that simple, like through songs and beauty and love, like that. So with this prophecy of the eagle and the condor and the unification of indigenous peoples, I see it happening a lot too, like up north in North America. Like my children were born in the Temazcal, and I have photos I'll show in a little bit. And that means it's a home, it's a purification home, a ceremonial house. And it's made usually like out of willows and or sticks or bricks in Mexico. And we use that sweat lodge, the Temazcal, to purify our mind, our body, our spirit. It's good, our elders always say it's good to sweat. And but honoring, the elements, being connected with nature. And so my children were born there on the earth with the fire and just songs and family. And that's one of the, parts of that prophecy of sharing that with all peoples. So, and it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to just go and pray. Like it's a lot of people put their lives on the line for that, and are still incarcerated or fighting the system in the United States just to be able to pray on the earth. So that's one of the ways that we're like continuing this prophecy. And then another, which I'm very much part of, is through the Native American church, the Teocalli Quetzalcoatl. So we're peyote people, and it comes from, it's a plant, a sacred, a holy sacrament for us that we use for prayer, that I've seen like a lot of, we sit up all night in the tepee. We go in at sundown and we come up at sunrise. And we're singing all night, and there's prayers. And the way we understand it, we pray is with tobacco, which is one of the first medicines. And there aren't all these other, if you go to Google University, type peyote, you're going to get all these, just stereotypes, miseducation about it. But like that plant it's given just so much to our people, and we respect it. And it translates peyo in Nahuatl to bright, shimmering heart. And that's what it is. It's medicine for our hearts. I've seen elders talk, they talk about how it's healed so many, like cancer and different illnesses, and done just spiritual surgery on a lot of people. Like a lot of, I've seen a lot of young men and women like addicted to heroin and other drugs, and after making a relationship with that plant, change their lives and take, responsibility of their families and children. So it's a way of life for us. And my husband and him more than me, but go all over the world taking this plant. And that's how we see it. Like the plant goes where it wants to go. It doesn't see colors. And it's for all people. Like I've been in the tepee with so many different backgrounds of races, nationality. Like it's just so beautiful, and that's another, way of continuing this prophecy, and just being connected with the plants and Creator. We do this for the Creator, and that's like I've seen in the tepee, like there's crossfires where there's the Bible there, or there's like very strict other natives who don't want to, still because of the contact history, like mix or share. And so little by little it's happening, but we just keep faith, right? And then I'm also a sun dancer, which comes from the Lakota tradition up north, and and South Dakota. And so there's a ceremony where we go once a year there's a big tree in the middle of the arbor, and it's 4 days of dancing, again, sunrise to sundown, with no food, no water. It's a sacrifice, and it's a personal prayer. Like, this is something you want to do out of your heart, and for some really serious, issues or things in life. So it's really beautiful, and I've seen just so many families and children, like, in that ceremonial way. And it's where we go. It's called Little Big Medicine on the Navajo Reservation in Arizona, and so we go there once a year and do that. And then people come from all over the world sometimes to do that for their lives, for their families, for their community. And then there's another ceremony or way of prayer called the amblecha, which comes from also the Lakota people, and that's some people know it as a vision quest, and that's where you go by yourself, either on the mountain, on the mesa, somewhere, and again, you're fasting for 4 days, 4 nights, and you're alone in just nature. And so an elder plants you and then picks you up and takes you to the lodge. But it's good. Like, everything that and I've done all these ceremonies, and it's my way of life. I'll do it I for the rest of my life. And all I could think of is, like, we want better. Want to better ourselves. We want a better life. So we do it, thinking to be a better person, a better mother, better wife, better sister. Like, so just real humble prayers for my family and for my community, and then issues worldwide. So, like that's for me, the Mexica way of life, spirituality, is that, like, the continuing the steps of our ancestors, and then this prophecy of the eagle, the condor, of uniting all indigenous peoples throughout the continent and worldwide. It's a lot of hard work, but it's happening, and then I'm just thankful, to the Creator for having the privilege of coming out here to New Zealand. Like Sharon said, like, really happy to be here, and I look forward to moving out here with my family and helping women that way too, because that's part of the that prophecy. The way I see it, it's children are sacred, and for us, like, we honor the directions, and the West is the direction of the warrior women, the women who give birth, Xipetotec, that energy, the serpent, and that's like, I see myself for the rest of my life helping to women and families to bring children to the world in the way that they see is the best for them, So, like, I guess it doesn't. We've been to a lot of places, and I see good people everywhere, but like, even Autumn comes to mind, because she was saying at dinner the other night, like, there's a lot of positivity. We always think that way, but there can't be positivity without negativity, and sometimes, that it's, instead of, like, reacting negatively, we just keep doing it positively. And sometimes it's just a prayer. So through prayer, but like, I'm really happy for where I am in my life right now, and I give thanks, to these ceremonies, like the Sundance, the Vision Quest, the Temazcal. I'm a danzante too, a Mexica dancer, and we have ceremonies all throughout the year. The biggest one we do is in June for the children, where we honor them with, we make big old staffs out of flowers, and then we give them blessings with those flowers, and and then give that to the ocean. And that's what we chose to do. Our dance group was to honor the children. But there's a lot of dance groups, especially in California, over 200, and then down Mexico, thousands. And there's ceremonies for Day of the Dead, for Cuauhtémoc, the warriors in our community, for the elders. There's just so much, and so that's the way I've been just passing down knowledge to my children. Is like we're here to, like, the poet said, like, to plant and sing songs, and it's that simple. But sometimes, like, people won't even take the time to drink a glass of water in the morning. Like, they're always saying, when you wake up, drink a glass of water, put your intentions in the water of how you want to start your day. Give thanks to the water where we come from life. And it's real simple. And that's like another medicine, so that we should have a relationship with. And then the fire, that's what in my culture we're always saying, like, no matter how many years and with the contact, genocide, history, all the knowledge and love is still in a fire. You could start a fire with, like that, a candle, or a big bonfire, however you see it, and have a relationship with that spirit, with the grandfather, grandmother. In our language, we call him Tatewari, and or Wewe Xutekutli, the ancient spirit, which is the fire. And then like that. So it's just always been for us to have a, like, Mexica spirituality is that, to just be respectful of the elements, give offerings. Like, we like to, every time we go somewhere, visit some, sacred site, like the temples in Mexico. I don't know if anyone's ever been to, like, Chichen Itza or Tulum or Teotihuacan, like those big temples, pyramids. We like to just go, offer some tobacco and be connected that way too. Like, it's good. The earth, like, she likes all the natural perfumes, the tobacco, lavender, anise, copal. Those are all, like, we say, like, as long as she keeps getting pregnant and giving us life, we'll be here. So we have to treat her in a, the best way that we can. And we're all human, and we all make mistakes, and we just try to do better. Is the way, like, I see it. Like, it's important to forgive and not judge, and just try to be at peace with oneself, and then others. So I don't know how we're doing on time, or it's okay. And I have some pictures, so I did talk about the danza and the Tepee, the Temazcal, so I have some pictures I wanted to share, and then some of my children there too. So thank you for listening to me and for inviting me. I'll go down there to the chapel. So Mexica, that means, translates to the umbilical cord of the moon. So, like, a lot of tribes or nations or peoples, we have, like, colonized names, like that got changed to Aztec, but they all mean something. So this over here is, like, the children. We were dancing at the Children's Museum in New York. This is my goddaughter, Tonalmina. It means the shooter of the sun. Cuauhteo, the spirit of the eagle, he's 3, and then Ashayaka, the face of the water. And this is kind of the regalia that we use for danza. He has leather with jaguar on, and his headdress is of macaw feathers. And over here, this is my sister, Cecilia, adopted sister, and we were at a powwow dancing. So that's our regalia, and it all means something. Like, I have a big macaw embroidery dress here, and McCall's Mate for Life, and it's just love energy, so I like to wear that on my person. And I borrowed my son's headdress, Kopili, and she has a little hummingbird here. So this is for Day of the Dead. We like to dance that it's always in November, honor all the ancestors. And then my son getting a flower blessing here with the petals. And there's Asha. And then here's a teepee. So this was out in New Jersey, in the U.S., and here's another version. So that's where we go in for prayer, for service, and try to better ourselves. And then here's the sweat lodge. I don't know if you can see it back here. This one's made of willows, so it's not covered, but when you use it, we put like canvases, blankets over it, and it's pitch black inside. The only thing you could really see are the stones that are out here in a fire, and they come in brushed off, and we add water, so it makes it really hot in there, and it's a purification ceremony. So that's the lodge. In Mexico, they're made a little different. And this is the Holy Sacrament, the peyote that I was talking about. Grows in Mexico, and it's just very blessed to have this medicine in our lives for our children. And this is a little flower, tutu, that grows out of it. We eat that too. It tastes really sweet. And this is a water drum that we use in the teepee with the medicine. And it's usually made from like stainless steel or brass, and there's 7 marbles around it, made of obsidian or tiger eye or quartz crystals, and then there's this deer hide on top of it, and it's filled with water, and there's coals in there, and then the gourd, the stem represents the man, the gourd here represents the woman, and together it's life, and the seeds inside are the children. And so this is one of the instruments that we use in the ceremonies. And we have next to it the tecocoli, the conch shell, that at least in danza we use all the time to open and close to the directions. And then these are some ceremonial fans that I make. I made this immature red tail hawk here. There's floral work with bead work, thread work, and we use these in ceremony. It has rose quartz in the back. And then my son, the 1.5-year-old, is holding a pheasant and macaw drop fan. And those are all used for blessings and healings and cleansings in the teepee. And then that's just a picture of my 3 boys. Like I said, the children for us are sacred, and that's our prayers are always for 7 generations, and teaching them too just how to be connected with the elements and nature and creator or God or however name you have for that spirit, that being. And so that's me and them, and that's it.
For our closing words, may the firmness of the earth be yours. May the flow of the water be yours. May the freedom of the air be yours. May the fierceness of the fire be yours. May all the gifts of this life, the below and the above, be with you now and remain with you always.